Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Westwood Living Podcast Network. Tom Leyden with you, and this is a unique one. I am being joined, actually, through some very intricate technology by Jen Palmer from Universal Power Yoga. We're doing this in a way that I actually, Jen, have to describe. First of all, how are you today?
I'm great, thank you. How are you, Tom?
I'm hanging in there, and so people might hear that sounds a little bit different, but what we're doing here is we're talking by Zoom, and we're mic'd up through Zoom, and hopefully it works. I think it should work, and I think the big key here is, Jen, first of all, thank you so much for being a part of our Westwood Living family. I know you just told me that you saw that first ad, which ran in January, and what was that like when you opened it up?
I loved it, Tom. It looked awesome, so vibrant and colorful, and we're just so happy to be part of the Westwood Living community.
Well, I appreciate that very much, and I know that we spoke almost beyond a year before you actually came aboard, and that's fine because I loved getting to know you and learn a little bit more about you, and I know that you're in this growth mode. You have 3 locations. You're in Norwood and you're in Wrentham, and now you're here in Westwood, and you really want to establish Westwood as your local community yoga center. And let's talk a little bit more about that. First of all, what's your tie specifically to this town, Westwood?
Sure, yes. So we're so happy to be in Westwood. I have a lot of members who were coming to the Norwood studio who live in Westwood. And so it was kind of a natural, organic expansion, if you will, to open in Westwood because Westwood didn't have a yoga studio after the pandemic. So I saw it as a great opportunity for us to spread the yoga love and create another home base and another neighborhood studio in Westwood. I also have a lot of friends in Westwood and I frequent businesses there very often. And I have private clients in the Westwood community as well that I teach them private one-on-one yoga lessons.
Now, you have built this business into something quite impressive, and I think that comes from your family's history of being entrepreneurs. When we first talked on the phone, that's the one thing that I remember about the conversation. Like, this is a person who knows what it's like to build a business because you've been surrounded by people building businesses your whole life.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Thank you for that. Yes. So I grew up on Cape Cod, actually, in a family of entrepreneurs, and a lot of my friends' parents were, small business owners on the Cape. So that was kind of the world I grew up in. And then I decided to go to Bentley for business school for college. And then I spent 10 years in the corporate world. After 10 years in the corporate world, I was kind of at a fork in the road. I had found yoga, absolutely loved yoga. I was a frequent member at a local studio that no longer exists. But I loved yoga and I also had a passion for business. And so basically I decided one day to take the leap of faith and open my own yoga business, a yoga studio, just to share yoga with others and, kind of decided to blend my background of business with my passion for yoga and sharing it with other people because I knew how much it had helped me. And I felt confident that I could run a studio and share it with other people and let them in on the secret of yoga.
Well, it certainly is a huge part of your life. And why is that? What was it? There had to be a moment or a series of moments that made you realize that yoga could make your life what you want it to be. So what were those moments, or maybe even that specific moment that flipped the switch, so to speak?
Yes. Thank you for asking that because I love kind of rewinding and going back to the beginning of my yoga journey. So I was in a fast-paced corporate environment, a consulting job, and lots of travel, and I was very stressed. Looking back on it, didn't have a lot of self-care, didn't have a lot of downtime. And so in order to relieve stress, I was running and training for a marathon. And then my knee was giving me a really hard time. It was causing a lot of pain. So I wasn't able to run a marathon that I was training for. And at the time I was Googling, what can help my knee, which led me to yoga. And once I found my very first yoga class, there was something very unique about yoga that I absolutely loved, which is that yoga creates this sense of calm and peace and balance, and it's not competitive. So basically you just show up as you are, and the yoga practice reduces cortisol, which is the stress hormone in the body, and it allows your nervous system to regulate, and you feel very calm and balanced and peaceful at the end of the class, which was something that had kind of felt foreign to me for a long, long time because I was always, going. And so there is this need for yoga and, a lower impact exercise regimen that actually brings the body back to a state of calm and peace as opposed to like revving it up.
Fascinating. So you have been able to build this empire. Am I right in thinking that your Norwood location was the first location?
Yes, Norwood
Okay.
was first. 2013 that we opened Norwood.
And then you added another facility in Wrentham, which is kind of right near 495, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So if you're
Correct.
coming off 495 from that way and making your way towards Gillette Stadium, almost immediately when you get off of the highway, you're going to see the UPY sign right over to your left as you're headed north. And then you've got this newest location, which is in Westwood, and I guess it's best described as behind and a little bit underneath Camellas, right?
Yes. And we love Camellas. So we go there after yoga. We were looking for a spot in Westwood, found this location, and it was really perfect. It's very easy to get to. It's also near Starbucks right there on 109. So technically it's on Hartford Street. But yeah, so we're so happy to be there. And the Westwood community has been amazing. We've met so many amazing people already who have come in and tried classes, and we're really excited about the community that we're building.
Well, tell me a little bit, because this will probably run before this big event, but you have something big planned for that weekend of February around the 20th, right? Zero me in on when those dates are.
Yes, February 24th and 25th,
Got it. Okay.
Saturday and Sunday. We're going to have free yoga classes that whole weekend with our Westwood yoga teachers. So we would love to invite everyone from Westwood to come join us for yoga classes. I think they're filling up, so make sure to sign up soon. And yeah, it's really just to kind of showcase the improvements that we've made to the space. We added some new lighting, we added new signs, and we've really done a lot of work both inside and outside of the space to make it really welcoming and to make it feel like this yoga sanctuary. I also wanted to note, Tom, that we don't have mirrors, which is a unique setting for yoga or any, wellness space, because it's really less about, comparison to others or like that competition feeling. It's really more about just showing up as you are and knowing that you're enough. And one thing I've learned through this business is that all bodies are different. What works for one person doesn't work for the other person. And so we really pride ourselves in teaching high quality, all levels yoga, which means that different people, different bodies, different backgrounds can all come in and feel welcome and safe and supported. And we're experienced when we teach. So our spaces, everything from the way that we set up the lighting to the way that we teach the class, our goal is really to be a welcoming yoga sanctuary for people to come and take care of themselves. We really want everyone to come in and check out our new space and to introduce themselves to us so that we can meet you and get to know you a little bit and continue to build this community.
You mentioned the teachers. Obviously, the key to any yoga studio success is the ability for the teachers to connect with those who walk through the door. And I look at your website and am blown away at the roster of teachers that you have across these 3 locations. I mean, it is an army of people who work for you. And how have you accumulated this great staff that works for you? And everybody's got their own strengths and their ability to contribute, I would guess, right?
Yes. You know what? Every single day, I am so grateful. I have a gratitude practice, and I'm so grateful for my team. I'm so grateful that, most of my teachers have been with me for a long time, and we've really built this community together. And yeah, I mean, it's beautiful because one of the biggest things that I always ask of my teachers is to teach authentically. We don't have a script. We're not trying to teach like another teacher. Every yoga teacher has the ability to teach yoga in a way that feels true and authentic to them. And then that resonates with different students. So kind of going back to like different bodies, different backgrounds, also different styles. Some people like a slower class. Some people want more of a power, strength, conditioning class. And we have both of those and everything in between. So you can really, utilize our new client deal, which is 4 classes for $40, and I always say take 4 different teachers and 4 different classes and really get a sense of what type of yoga works best for you. And even if someone listening has tried yoga in the past and maybe it wasn't for them at that point in time, different chapters of your life, maybe yoga comes in or goes out, but to give us a chance would really mean the world to us because we do have something for everyone.
Yeah, no question. I've actually had the chance to take a couple classes with Esther. And one of the things I said to Esther was just like, listen, obviously a lot of people in this room are a bit more experienced at this than I am. And what works for me, to your point, is like I need it to be a bit slower. I just need a little bit more time to get in these positions to make it work. But you can tell that when you are surrounded by people who are a bit more advanced or experienced, they do like the faster classes. So I'm glad you said that, because it's not like I dislike Esther. It's just like she's an absolute pro, and she was rocking that class, and everybody who was in there was doing great. And it's not like I was comparing myself, so to speak, but I was a little bit. I'm like, well, okay, I need to slow down. I got to go maybe with somebody who goes a little bit slower. But it really accentuates your point about trying to find your own space, your own journey. And that's, to me, what makes yoga so unique, is that you can find your own space of peace, which I think is probably one of the best things that you have taken away from this experience, I would guess, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And we do have a phenomenal beginners class. I just want to mention it's on Sundays at 9:15. So that's a great one just to note for beginners. We also have a slow flow on Mondays at 6 p.m. So there is something for everyone, and to kind of look at the schedule and see what's drawing you in. We also have power class for anyone listening who wants more of that, like I said, like rigorous, challenging class. So yeah, find the classes that work for you. Give it a try, give it a few tries, because sometimes when you come into, like I remember my first class, I was a fish out of water. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know any of the poses, but there was something about Shavasana, which is the very last pose where we're just laying down, resting, that brought me this undeniable sense of peace. And so that's what I was alluding to earlier, which is, kind of a foreign concept to a lot of us who are busy. The sense of peace, it really comes from within. And after 60 minutes of doing yoga and focusing on your breath and moving at a pace that feels good and natural, then you can really kind of access this feeling of peace at the end of class. So I'm glad that you tried it, Tom, and definitely come back in. And I would love to have you take a few more classes and, see what the other teachers are offering as well.
Yeah, I think you might see me on Sunday at 9:15 if you get my drift.
Okay, there you go. That's perfect.
I don't want to get out of here without giving you the opportunity to talk about just an amazing achievement last year. There is a huge yoga event that's hosted at Gillette Stadium. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe the Universal Power Yoga team was the top fundraiser. Am I right in that recollection?
Yes, you were. Yes.
I mean, that's insane. Do you remember the figures? And I mean, how did you get that done?
Yeah, so it's called Yoga Reaches Out. It's at Gillette Stadium every year. I've been part of it, and a bunch of people on my team have been part of it for about 10 years. And it was phenomenal. They had asked me to teach this past year in 2023. And it was great. I mean, I was so honored to be part of it and to lead the effort. Our team, Universal Power Yoga, raised $48,397 for Boston Children's Hospital. I just pulled that figure up. So $48,397 for Boston Children's. And we were the top fundraising team, which we had been several years in a row. So it just goes to show, I take very little credit for that. It's really our community. We have a very bustling, passionate yoga community, and we show up. We show up to practice, we show up for each other, we show up for causes, giving back, supporting other businesses. It's really powerful what you can do when a bunch of passionate people come together.
It's Westwood's Community Yoga Studio, and that is Jen Palmer, who's the founder and owner of UPY, and it's such a thrill to get a chance to chat with you. I'm so happy you're part of our sponsor family. Anything I could ever do to be of assistance to you, you can reach out, because we're all doing this together. The more you grow, the better off everything is. So thank you for the time today, and thank you for your support, and I can't wait to do more things in the months ahead.
Thank you, Tom. I just want to say I feel so blessed to be part of the Westwood Living community. You have been so supportive of our small business, and I love that you come in and take classes, and you really do, show us a lot of support. So I really value that. I appreciate you so much, and I'm looking forward to bringing more physical, mental, and emotional and spiritual aspects to the community as people try us out and try our yoga classes. So thank you so much.
You got it. Thank you. That's Jen Palmer. And as always, folks, if there's somebody else you would like me to have a conversation with, just send an email to tleyden@bestversionmedia.com. I, of course, will track down that person. We'll have a conversation, and we'll share with you right here on the Westwood Living Podcast Network. But for now, with Jen via Zoom, this is Tom saying so long and have a great time. And thanks so much for listening to the Westwood Living Podcast.